in the hushed whispers of dawn's first light, where the horizon embraces the enchanting tapestry of the earth, there lies a land whose very existence cradles the seeds of human civilization. This land, known to many as Mesopotamia, stretches languidly between two mighty rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, which meander from the towering mountainous terrains of Anatolia to the fertile plains of the Persian Gulf. As the sun awakens and casts its warm golden rays across this region, a soft symphony of nature unfolds, a harmonious blend of gentle river currents and the muted rustling of reeds swaying in the breeze, the whispers of the earth inviting us into a deep exploration of its storied past. In this ancient cradle, we find ourselves journeying back to approximately 3500 BCE, a pivotal moment in human history, a time when our ancestors began to transition from a nomadic existence to one of settled life. This was an era marked by the Neolithic Revolution, a profound shift that forever altered the relationship between humankind and the land. The fertile soil, enriched by the annual flooding of the Tigris and Euphrates, became a nurturing cradle for glutinous grains and pulses, turning once transient hunter-gatherers into sedentary agriculturalists who learned to cultivate and harvest the bounty of their environment. The lush landscapes emerging along the riverbanks filled the horizon with life, not only in abundance but also in the promise of stability and community. As we close our eyes and let the ambient sounds wash over us, the gentle lapping of water against the riverbank, the faint calls of distant birds and insects flitting about in the growing warmth, we can almost envision the burgeoning settlements rising against the backdrop of the vast, unyielding Mesopotamian skies. Every family began to plant their roots, creating small clusters of homes made from sun-baked mud bricks. These humble abodes with their open courtyards became the heart of emerging communities where generations would gather, share, and cultivate not only crops, but also beliefs, traditions, and the very essence of culture itself. The geography of Mesopotamia, with its semi-arid climate punctuated by fertile waterways, played a central role in shaping the lives of its inhabitants. With the dual mastery of the rivers came both gifts and challenges. While they ensured the fertility of the land, they also presented the perils of flooding, a consequence of the river's unpredictable nature. Each season brought promises of abundance and the threat of devastation, leading to an intricate dance of cooperation among the communities to manage and mitigate the risks. The rivers became both lifelines and harbingers of uncertainty, shaping not just the landscape but the lives of the people who inhabited it. And in this delicate balance we can sense the beginnings of social structures forming. A settled life prompted collaboration and the emergence of early governance. The forging of communal bonds led to a deeper understanding of the need for leadership, as groups negotiated land use, organized irrigation, and resolved conflicts. Distant sounds of conversations, accompanied by laughter and the occasional clattering of tools, filled the air, telling tales of burgeoning interactions that predated written records, a proto-social fabric coming together in the sweltering heat of the sun. The Neolithic lifestyle fostered a wealth of human experience, from which art and language began to take root, like the unforeseen blossoming of wildflowers in a desert landscape after the rains. As people spent their days tending to crops and domesticated animals, their creativity blossomed into pottery adorned with intricate designs and the primitive yet profound expressions of their emerging spirituality. It is easy to imagine the joy and communal pride that must have accompanied the creation of early art, emerging from hands that labored over the earth's offerings. Yet alongside this joy lay the solemnity of devotion, a natural inclination that led to rituals honoring the cycles of nature and the deities they believed wielded influence over their everyday lives. The fertile lands and life-giving rivers were not merely resources to be harnessed, they were sanctified elements of their very existence, drawing heritage from a collective understanding that the divine and mundane were inextricably entwined. Under the soft, awning shade of ancient trees, the fragrance of freshly prepared bread seemed to mingle with the sweet, earthy aroma of tilled soil, inviting all to gather for feasts that bridge the sacred and the profane. As our focus gently hones in, we can hear the sounds of everyday life beginning to lace themselves into the fabric of this tender era. Families work beside one another in shared endeavors, their children laughing and running, reveling in the careless joys of youth, while the elders impart wisdom, tirelessly recounting the tales of their origins and the reverence owed to the land that nurtures them. Each day unfolds as a continuation of rituals and routines, an intermingling of labor and leisure, a shared exploration of identity that began to grow like ivy across the walls of time. The prevailing climate, which shaped both bounty and hardship, was an omnipresent force, a gentle whisper of nature, both forgiving and formidable. As the seasons turned, every grain harvested, every seed planted became a testament to adaptation and resilience. This duality shaped the collective consciousness of the people, imbuing them with the understanding that survival required not only the tenacity to endure, but also the knowledge to commune harmoniously with the world around them. Therefore, as the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates glisten under the midday sun, reflecting the aspirations of all who depend upon them, we find ourselves drawn into the essence of Mesopotamia, a land unparalleled in its ability to transform simple existence into something profoundly remarkable. With each flowing wave, a connection to the past unfurls, the whispers of a civilization cradled in the embrace of nature, shaping courses of human destiny that would ripple through time. It is with this atmosphere, rippling with promise and uncertainty, that we begin to understand the foundations of what would become a rich tapestry of innovation, culture, and societal evolution. In the placid waters of life's river, we witness the birth of community, the blossom of creativity, and the stirring echoes of spiritual awakening that beckon us to delve deeper into the collective journey of humanity. Mesopotamia, in all its complexity and enchantment, welcomes us to linger while longer, allowing the soft murmur of its history to envelop us as we explore the unfolding narrative that would shape not only a civilization but the very essence of human endeavor as we know it. The land of Mesopotamia, cradled by the life-giving waters of the Tigris and Euphrates, stands as a testament to the resilience and adaptability of early human societies. The lush alluvial plains, enriched by the fertile silt deposited by the annual floods, fostered an environment where agriculture could flourish, transforming the very landscape and its peoples. In these early days, the heartbeats of soon-to-be great civilizations stirred beneath the surface, waiting for the right conditions, a delicate interplay of natural advantages and human ingenuity, to elevate them from mere survival to a vibrant tapestry of life, rich with culture, innovation, and historical significance. As we journey further through the regions which now form modern-day Iraq, we can almost sense the dramatic shifts of climate that influenced these early settlements. The serene waltz of the rivers brought not only water but a tantalizing promise of abundance, a promise that carried with it the need for careful management and cooperation. Here in this cradle of civilization, we find communities faced with dramatic seasonal changes. The refreshing rains of spring gave way to the sweltering heat of summer, leading crops to flourish and wither in a rhythm wholly dictated by the whims of nature. Flooding could engulf fields in a beautiful yet chaotic surge, while dry spells threatened entire harvests, reminding the citizens of Mesopotamia of their vulnerability amidst nature's majesty. The echo of shovels biting into the earth and the laughter of children chasing one another through throngs of gathering crops are palpable, painting a picture of industrious life against the vastness of the horizon. Irrigation practices emerged as solutions to mitigate the capricious behavior of the rivers, a testament to human creativity and determination. With rudimentary yet effective channeling techniques, laborers constructed canals that harnessed the flow of water, channeling it towards fields and ensuring that their very survival hinged not solely upon nature's favor, but upon their ingenuity as well. The hum of activity rose from the fields, blending harmoniously with the whispers of wind and rippling waters, a constant reminder that the cycles of life and death, abundance and scarcity were steeped in delicate balance. In these early agricultural settlements, we can imagine vibrant clusters of villages sprouting along the banks of the rivers, each a patchwork of lives intricately woven together by shared experiences. Families cultivated the lands while creating a sense of belonging and community, exchanging goods and helping one another in seasonal labors, crafting bonds that would transcend generations. Potters meticulously shaped their wares, men and women working side by side, the rhythmic thumping of their hands pressing against the clay, singing a tune of cooperation that harmonized with laughter shared over meals, inviting neighbors to come together. This burgeoning sense of community began to manifest itself in the streets of these villages, where the sounds of commerce flourished, and merchants busily bartered their wares, painting the air with the fragrance of fresh produce, textiles and crafts crafted with care. In time, with increased agricultural yields and growing populations, the physical landscape morphed to reflect the burgeoning sophistication of human accomplishments. As riverbanks were lined with vibrant villages, cities began to rise in prominence, temples towering like sentinels, their ziggurats serving as focal points for spiritual life, while bustling marketplaces buzzed with traders and visitors from different cities, all eager to exchange stories and goods. The cities became sanctuaries of culture. As clay tablets emerged in the hands of scribes, the written word began to weave its magic, capturing the essence of daily life, tracking ownership and chronicling narratives that would ripple across generations. Indeed, we must reflect on the role of climate not only as a provider but as a formidable antagonist, shaping the human experience in profound ways. The cyclical nature of seasons instilled a sense of awareness within those who inhabited this sacred land. They came to recognize that the blessings of the rivers were not only to be embraced but honored and respected. Seasonal changes influenced not only agricultural practices, but also the very fabric of daily life. The rhythms dictating the timing of sowing and reaping made their way into the mythologies and spiritual practices that colored their existence. Rituals dedicated to deities of fertility, water, and harvest seeped into the cultural consciousness, imbuing the mundane with divine significance, a practice that echoed through time, reverberating with the prayers whispered on lips that caressed the cool morning air. As elders gathered children around them in the early evenings, telling stories born from the grains of their experiences, communities sharpened their narrative skills. The tales, enriched with lessons, moral intricacies, and reflections on human nature, became a vital transmission of knowledge that fostered unity against the backdrop of a vast and often unpredictable world. The soothing rhythm of the evenings, lit by the soft glow of oil lamps, carried the scent of evening meals mingling with sweet earth and the sounds of crickets serenading the night, each moment capturing the essence of existence in ways both profound and ephemeral. With the rise of cities came the inevitable complexity of governance. The need for leadership and order became essential as populations grew and societies became more intricate. The dawn of political organization emerged in response to the demand for management of resources and social order, leading to the establishment of early bureaucracies. Intrepid leaders rose to power, often securing their authority through both skill and the perceived favor of the divine. The marketplace shifted from mere exchange to a pivotal center of social affairs, reflecting a deepening interdependence among the burgeoning city-states that peppered the region, their fates intertwined. Let us pause for a moment and consider the implications of such developments. The rise of social stratification began to take hold, as roles within society expanded beyond the agricultural laborers to include craftsmen, traders, scribes, and nobles. A hierarchy emerged, with those at the top seizing leadership roles, creating systems of governance designed to maintain stability and order, but also fostering inequity that would mark the landscape of human interaction in Mesopotamia. The city-states grew into mini-empires, each vying for power, as voices swelled in debates over resources and land, echoing their aspirations into the crevices of ancient earth. The tapestry woven within this majestic landscape reveals a profound truth about the human experience. For within this symbiotic relationship between humanity and the land lay not only the seeds of survival, but the very essence of identity, an identity shaped by the interactions with nature, with community, and with the divine. The rich colors of daily life mingled beneath the gentle gaze of the evening sky, creating a portrait filled with aspiration, longing, and creativity. The rivers continued to flow with purpose, nourishing the ground and seeding dreams that encompassed all manner of experience, from the profane to the sacred. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting silhouettes over the villages and towns that punctuated the landscape, the quiet promise echoed throughout Mesopotamia that the tales yet to emerge would reflect not only the struggles of survival, but also the triumphs of human existence in its many forms. In these quiet moments, as stars began to twinkle in the vast sky, the unwritten chapters of the future shimmered brightly, hinting at the profound truths about humanity that were bound to unfold on this remarkable stage, an arena where early civilizations would rise, etched into the very fabric of time and history itself. We linger here, pausing to absorb the promise written in the waves of the river, the heartbeats of civilization reverberating through the ages, waiting patiently to be explored in the unfolding narrative of Mesopotamia. As we delve deeper into the fabric of life within the burgeoning environments of Mesopotamia, we find ourselves drawn into the daily rhythms of its inhabitants, each one shaped by an intricate mosaic of cultural practices, personal beliefs, and community interactions that dramatically define their existence. The vivid exchanges and intimate connections that unfolded in this ancient cradle of civilization invite us to listen closely to the whispers of long ago, where the echoes of laughter and labor imbued the air with an essence unique to this vibrant landscape. In the soft light of early dawn, as the first rays of sunlight streamed over the horizons, villagers began their day with a sense of purpose deeply rooted in their surroundings. Meticulously tending to their fields, men and women worked side by side, their hands carefully tilling the soil that promised sustenance. Grains of barley, wheat, and pulses would soon sprout under the attentive gaze of those who nurtured them. The simplicity of life was palpable, where the cycle of work and rest instilled a sacred rhythm that governed the days, each hour flowing seamlessly into the next, with the land serving as both provider and backdrop. Seated beneath the shade of palm trees, families gathered to share meals, often prepared with ingredients harvested from their fields or traded at bustling marketplaces that emerged alongside the rivers. Such communal moments fostered a sense of belonging, a celebration of shared sustenance reflecting not only the bounties of the earth but the bonds that tied them together as a community. The wholesome aroma of bread baking in clay ovens intermingled with the warm sense of fresh produce, offering a gentle reminder of the abundant life that flourished within this cradle. It brings to mind the daily ritual of breaking bread, where the significance of nourishment transcended the physical act. It was an offering of gratitude, a moment to pause, and an opportunity to celebrate the ties that forever wove them into a larger tapestry. While daily labor was essential in sustaining these communities, the cultural mosaic of Mesopotamian life radiated through and was enriched by a rich tradition of craftsmanship and artistry. Artisans trained in the skills of their trades involved themselves in the creation of stunning pottery, intricate textiles, engraved seal stones, and metalwork that symbolized both practical needs and aesthetic desires. Each crafted item bore the fingerprints of the individual maker, infusing daily life with a sense of beauty and purpose. The sounds of the workrooms echoed with chisels tapping against stone, the strum of looms weaving cloth, and enthusiastic conversations about techniques passed down through generations, a harmonious backdrop to the colorful life unfolding around them. As the tapestry of culture unfurled, so too did the spirit of devotion and reverence toward the divine. Mesopotamians fashioned a world intricate with deities and rituals that permeated their existence. Temples rose majestically within city walls, their towering ziggurats reaching for the heavens, constructed as earthly dwellings for the gods who were believed to walk among them. Each city cultivated its pantheon, adhering to gods that represented various aspects of life: fertility, war, wisdom, therein weaving a narrative that connected the celestial with the terrestrial. It is easy to imagine the richer tapestry of life woven from these sacred threads, where everyday decisions were influenced by offerings made to deities and ceremonies held to seek forgiveness or blessings. Families often prepared for festival days, sacred gatherings that would draw entire communities together, bursting with the colors of celebration and adorned with vibrant apparel reflecting the exuberance of life itself. The air would thrum with the sound of musicians, playing flutes and percussive instruments as dancers, cloaked in flowing fabrics, twirled in reverence. The sights, sounds, and scents surrounding these gatherings crafted a palpable communion, allowing the people to reinforce their ties with one another while simultaneously honoring the divine. Ritualistic offerings of grains, fruits, or crafted art would be made, a declaration of faith and a reminder that in their cosmic dance they were never alone. They were part of a graceful universe where the mundane was suffused with meaning. Architecture, too, was a profound expression of this cultural identity. As city-states flourished, residences began to mimic the grandeur of temples, adopting intricate designs that reflected the ingenuity of the people who called them home. Mud brick houses, neatly aligned along narrow alleyways, provided shelter, while their walls often bore elaborate mural depictions of significant events, mythology, or everyday life, acting as visual storytelling for those who passed by. Rooftop terraces offered private spaces where families could share picturesque views of their environment, a deep appreciation for the land that nurtured them evident in their observations. The presence of gardens and courtyards filled with vibrant plants revealed an understanding of the relationship between form and function. Even in their domestic spheres, beauty was subtly married to utility. Within this architectural beauty, we catch glimpses of daily life where solitude met community, and where the stillness of individual reflections coexisted harmoniously with the sounds of social gatherings. The sensation of soft breezes drifting through the doorways would waft fragrant aromas into shared spaces, fostering a nurturing atmosphere where stories, customs, and wisdom flowed freely. Along those earthen pathways, individuals exchanged not only goods, but also life experiences, forming an intricate web wherein they all recognized the shared importance of human connection. The rhythm of life in Mesopotamia was undeniably shaped by the symbolic interplay between humanity and nature. Seasons created a distinct cadence. As the abundance of spring gave way to the blistering heat of summer, the solemnity of the harvest loomed. Men and women would gather under the waning sun, their hands knee-deep in the earth, efficiently plucking ripe grains and fruits, capturing the essence of summer's promise as they readied for the inevitable cycles of drought or flood. Each harvest required meticulous planning and a spirit of cooperation, as communities learned that their survival rested upon the harmony of their unity, a lesson as true then as it remains now. With each passing day, as children grew within this world rich in lessons learned, traditions began to take root, binding generations together, echoing forever in the patterns of human history. They learned to cherish the rituals, the stories, and the shared laughter that colored their existence, simple joys woven into the very fabric of being. The education of youth occurred spontaneously in the realm of daily life, from the small hands eagerly learning the art of weaving beside their elders, to the curious gazes locked on potters shaping clay. A sense of legacy and continuity began to unfold, an immersive experience that would play a role in shaping the values and beliefs of each succeeding generation. Through art, architecture, agriculture, and spirituality, Every aspect of Mesopotamian life cultivated a multifaceted identity woven into its landscape. The warmth of day turned into the cool embrace of night, and as adults, families would share tailies beneath domed ceilings adorned with celestial motifs, the flickering glow of hearth embers inviting dreams of both the tangible and the ethereal. Adults reflected upon the realities of their days, while children, lulled by soft voices filled with rich anecdotes, would drift into slumber, carrying with them the hopes, dreams, and lessons of their ancestors, each nighttime ushering forth a sense of continuity bridging the past with the uncertain promise of the future. In the hushed melodies of life within Mesopotamia, the spirit of the human experience was pennied into the annals of time, echoing softly yet profoundly within conversations crafted by generations, a reminder that amidst the ebb and flow of existence, there dwell truths that transcend both geography and era. The riverbanks, alive with fluttering sounds and gentle breezes, would continue to tell the stories ingrained in the hearts of those who walked its shores. This land, rich in its layers of meaning and experience, formed a cohesive essence that beckoned to those willing to listen, to feel the pulse of civilization in every heartbeat, echoing across the cuneiform tablets that have defied the passage of time itself. Embracing the delicacy of history, we pause to appreciate the depth of human existence here, where the whispers of time breathe life into the lingering embrace of the cradle of civilization itself. As we turn our gaze toward the currents that shape the destiny of Mesopotamia, we find ourselves amidst a landscape alive with ambition, both gentle and fierce, where city-states burgeoned and the dreams of generations blossomed into tangible realities. The evolution of this remarkable cradle of civilization was not merely a result of geographic fortune. It was a complex tapestry woven together by a multitude of factors: political acumen, social stratification, economic exchange, and quite importantly, the pivotal role of remarkable individuals whose ambitions and visions paved the pathways of history. The rise of Sumerian city-states around the 4th millennium BCE marks a significant transformation within this region. It was a time when small agricultural communities that thrived along the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates began to coalesce into bustling urban centers. These cities emerged not only as hubs of economic activity, but also as bastions of governance, each adopting a unique identity while sharing cultural threads that nevertheless bound them together. Uruk, and Lagash represent just a few of the prominent city-states from this era, dominating the fertile plain with their towering ziggurats and intricate administrative systems designed to manage their burgeoning populations. Each of these cities operated under the rule of a lugal, or king, whose authority was often intertwined with religious sanctity. The king was perceived as a mediator between the people and the divine, the guiding force who received favor from the gods and in turn ensured the prosperity of the city-state. This connection between political and religious systems rendered governance far more profound than simple administration. It infused everyday life with a rich spiritual dimension that laid the groundwork for societal stability. It is poignant to consider how such intricate relationships would not only define leadership structures, but would also sculpt the ethos and self-identity of the Mesopotamian people, a tapestry thicker than mere political allegiance, attuned to echoes of celestial favor. Alongside this elevation of the ruling class, the Sumerian society grew increasingly stratified, a reality that would result in complex social hierarchies shaped by wealth, trade, and craftsmanship. Beneath the lugal lay nobles, priests, diplomats, and traders, constituting an elite class whose prosperity was frequently enmeshed with the ebb and flow of commerce, as goods traversed trade networks extending to distant lands. Between the fertile fields of Mesopotamia and the treasuries of neighboring regions, caravans might have carried textiles, grains, and pottery, underscoring the interconnectedness that snaked across arid plains and rugged mountains, intertwining cultures and economies in the process. Within this intricate web of exchange, the importance of trade emerges not merely as an economic necessity, but rather as an influential force fueling developments in culture, technology, and even warfare. Growing urban centers prompted innovations in storage solutions, transportation, and importantly, the development of written communication, originally appearing as symbols etched into clay tablets. The introduction of cuneiform script, allowing for the recording of transactions, administrative contracts, and ultimately tailies and laws, reflects a burgeoning need for record keeping that epitomized both the complexity and ambition of this early society. It is evocative to think how each inscription nestled within those time-worn tablets encapsulated the minds of scribes who sought to carve a legacy in the very clay of their existence. Perhaps most notably during this formative period, we encounter figures whose ambitions transferred mere survival into unparalleled achievements. One such individual, Sargon of Akkad, emerged as a trailblazer who forged one of the first known empires in history. Rising from the city of Kish, Sargon united various Sumerian city-states into a cohesive entity, a feat reflecting not merely military prowess but an understanding of the societal currents flowing through the heart of Mesopotamia. The Akkadian Empire, fashioned through both conquest and diplomacy, would come to span much of the Fertile Crescent, allowing for unprecedented cultural exchange even amidst the barriers of conquest. In capturing a sense of unity among a mosaic of diverse peoples, Sargon employed strategies that would solidify his rule, establishing a delicate balance of governance that involved respect for local customs coupled with the imposition of Akkadian authority. Such dualities resonated profoundly in Mesopotamian society, challenging the very fabric of identity itself. The people blended through this process of amalgamation, becoming in essence the very culture that would shape centuries to follow, while wrestling with the complexities that emerged from shared governance and varying customs. As we reflect on these developments, it is essential to recognize the dual nature of Sargon's rule, one that not only established a capital of power but also sowed the seeds of cultural exchange and artistic development. Artisans from across the cities converged, sharing techniques and traditions that resulted in an architectural renaissance characterized by monumental stonework and elaborate artistic craftsmanship. Temples experienced transformation, emerging not just as places of worship but also as artistic expressions that bore witness to the interplay between faith and human achievement, a symbolic manifestation of their worldviews that extended far beyond mere physical structures. However, alongside the bright aspirations simmered tensions that punctuated this unfolding narrative, reminiscent of the perennial ebb and flow of human ambition. The newfound conquests, while enriching, also birthed rivalries. Wars fought over land, resources, and prestige would carve away at the delicate fabric of interconnected city-states. The Akkadian Empire, despite its splendor, fell victim to internal strife as ambitious leaders sought to assert their dominance, echoing through the ages the relentless cycle of power that transcends any one nation, each competing for hearts, minds, and territory. Following the decline of Sargon's successors, the rise of Babylon heralded another pivotal chapter in the complex history of Mesopotamia. Hammurabi, perhaps one of the most famous figures ever to emerge from this region, wielded the hammer of justice through a series of reforms that significantly shaped societal norms and legal frameworks. His code, inscribed upon stone stelae, transcended mere governance, imbuing the principles of fairness and accountability into the hearts of his people. Here lay a convergence of Enlightenment principles. Hammurabi's laws carved deep into the collective consciousness, providing a legal anchor in a time when chaos threatened to unravel society. Through an understanding woven from centuries of experience, Hammurabi sought to consolidate his power while enabling a sense of order and structure that promised longevity, each decree echoing the lessons of previous civilizations. The transition from oral traditions to codified laws ushered in an era where disputes could be resolved through structured dialogue rather than violent confrontation, an act of wisdom that echoes through the ages and serves as a foundational aspect of contemporary legal systems today. Yet with each burgeoning empire came the inevitable duality of power, a reality that not only marked the rise of colossal achievements, but also served as a forewarning of impending conflict. A wave of tensions surged as external forces began to edge closer toward Mesopotamian borders. The Hittites, fierce warriors from the north, threatened, instilling fear and invoking the fire of conflict within the hearts of the once united Akkadian states. Migrations of entire peoples, economic distress, and the unpredictability of nature, particularly flooding, began to unravel the very essence of lifestyles meticulously crafted over millennia. As we contemplate the rise and fall of these great civilizations, it becomes an intimate exercise in understanding the delicate interplay of human experience. From the communities thriving in agricultural abundance to the ambitious architects, artisans, and rulers crafting legacies with each passing season, the landscape of Mesopotamia pulses with the essence of historical continuity, where every ambition, conflict, and collaboration infused the fabric of being, illustrating the tragically beautiful reality of existence through the ages. In such moments of reflection, we recognize that despite the vastness of history, the threads remain inextricably linked, individual lives shaping the cosmos, echoing through the quiet moments of those who walked alongside the rivers that nourished their very souls. It is within this beautifully complex narrative that we find an exploration of humanity, persevering amidst the tides of power, ambition, and unity that have sculpted the rich legacy of Mesopotamia, continuing to resonate within the course of time itself, forever echoing the deep engagements of a once flourishing cradle of civilization. And as the rivers flowed onward, so too did the enduring spirit of a people whose collective story remains ingrained in the very earth beneath our feet. As our examination deepens, the tapestry of Mesopotamia begins to show its intricate patterns of evolution, a landscape marked by the vibrant shades of societal ambition, the dark hues of conflict, and the lighter threads of cooperation woven into the very fabric of existence. The rise of each city-state, the reign of notable figures, and the establishment of enduring institutions could hardly exist in isolation. Instead, they formed a complex web of interactions, pushing the boundaries of human experience, creativity, and resilience. The ebb and flow of power, much like the Tigris and Euphrates, would define not only the civilizations that rose and fell, but also the very essence of what it meant to live and thrive in the heart of this captivating region. With the fall of Sargon's empire looming, we now contemplate the transformative moments that led to the myriad challenges faced by the people of Mesopotamia. The tension that tightened its vice-like grip around the heart of government fostered a tumultuous atmosphere. Tribal allegiances began to resurface, challenging the authority of an empire that was both revered and resented. It was during these storms of internal strife that the seeds of discontent germinated, nurtured by the ambition of lesser leaders whose declarations echoed within the walls of crumbling capitals. Each local ruler, disillusioned by the ruling elite of faraway cities, sought to assert their dominance while simultaneously embodying the normative roles of protector and benefactor to their own people, often leading to fragmentation within the once cohesive civilization. The intricate balance that had been maintained in Sargon's time was now unraveling, reflected poignantly in the faces of ordinary people navigating the shifting tides of power. Farmers, artisans, and traders watched as familiar landscapes morphed into battlegrounds, their hopes intermingling with a pervasive sense of uncertainty. The day-to-day existence of those living on the outskirts of this conflict was marked by the relentless cycle of agricultural labor, punctuated by whispers of changing allegiances and the distant sounds of conflict echoing through the valleys. Yet from this tumultuous crucible emerged the resilience of a collective identity, an identity forged as much in hardship as in shared beliefs and cultural practices, enduring the upheaval that swept through their world. Through it all, the city of Babylon rose like a phoenix amidst the ashes, embodying the aspirations of a new era. Hammurabi's code, inscribed in limestone and echoing through time, exemplified a concerted effort to bring order amidst chaos, showcasing the yearning for justice and continuity that transcended individual lives. Such an endeavor required not only a firm grasp of governance, but also a profound understanding of the human condition, for the people of Babylon longed for structure in a world marked by unpredictability. Herein lies a remarkable transformation. It was not merely that laws were established, but that a collective consciousness began to coalesce around shared values, empowering each individual to aspire towards a harmonious societal existence. Yet beneath the surface of this apparent stability, the complexities of survival weighed heavily on the shoulders of its citizens. As external pressures mounted, be they from the aggressive Hittites to the north or marauding tribes seeking to seize power, the city-state found itself oscillating between strength and vulnerability. The defensive walls of Babylon, once a symbol of security, were now overshadowed by the looming specter of potential invasion. With every advance of an opposing force, the notion of identity and community would be tested, as men took up arms while women and children sought refuge within the relative safety of high walls. During this era, we can sense how the human experience of Mesopotamia was deeply intertwined not only with the political upheavals, but also with the natural world. The unpredictable cycles of flooding and drought continued to shape their existence, reminding them of their delicate dance with nature, an unseen companion ever so present in the rituals and beliefs that pervaded daily life. The shifting landscapes, both figurative and literal, lent themselves to a continual renegotiation of existence. How could one maintain a sense of agency in a world of chaos? The answer often lay in the collective memory, steeped in cultural heritage and shared stories that provided solace and continuity amidst change. As we gaze upon this scene, the legacy of Mesopotamian civilization becomes increasingly apparent. Cultural practices, mythologies, and religious beliefs continued to flourish, even as political bodies changed and fell. Temples, constructed to honor deities, stood as enduring monuments to the resilience of faith, a sanctuary from which both divine favor and communal identity could draw strength. Here, rituals and ceremonies, imbued with meaning, nurtured the souls of those who believed in a greater order, tempering the tumult of everyday life with the richness of shared spirituality. Yet the cyclical nature of human endeavor meant that even the mightiest of structures could not endure indefinitely against the tides of time. As we descend further into this tale of transformation, the landscape of Mesopotamia is haunted by memories not solely of its past glories, but also of looming threats that would shape its future. The narrative of decline brought with it a disillusionment that echoed loudly, particularly in the hearts of the once great rulers who had been so steadfast in their hopes for stability and prosperity. As waves of external forces washed over their borders, amplifying the fractures within their own society, we see how the very ambitions that had once spurred them on began to wane. City-states that once basked in the glow of cultural exchange now bore the scars of warfare, with art and innovation overshadowed by the arduous task of survival. The vibrant exchanges of culture that characterized early Mesopotamian interactions faded, replaced by an atmosphere of suspicion and fragmentation where alliances were ephemeral and trust was a luxury that few could afford. Amidst these challenges, the essential human spirit persevered. When faced with the relentless march of time and the uncertainties it brought, individuals sought to carve out their own legacies, whether through artistic expression, civic engagement, or simply through acts of kindness within their communities. The delicate balance between individual desires and communal obligations shifted like the waters of the rivers that fed their land. Each act of creation, be it the crafting of a clay tablet, the weaving of a tapestry, or the telling of a story by firelight, became not only an assertion of identity but a testament to survival as people continued to push against the tides of history. The remnants of this period beckon to be understood as more than mere vestiges of a bygone era. They resonate as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of human experiences through time. The ruins now serve not only as archaeological evidence of past societies, but also as shared spaces of reflection, where the voices of those who once thrived and struggled mingle. The whispers of the past invite future generations to contemplate the dynamic interplay between ambition and fragility, a dance that remains relevant across ages. As we breathe in the legacy of Mesopotamia, crafted from the complexities and triumphs of its civilizations, we are reminded that such experiences, filled with both aspiration and trial, continue to resonate within our own lives today. The enduring spirit of this cradle of civilization reveals itself in our ongoing quest for meaning, unity, and the indomitable sense of self that prevails against all odds. The story remains one of transformation, of the landscape, the people, the institutions, and the very essence of human endeavor, forever captured within the rhythm of time as ever-flowing as the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates, carving out histories and futures intertwined in an eternal continuum. As we wander through the echoes of Mesopotamia's monumental past, an atmosphere of profound reflection envelops us, reminding us that the legacy of this ancient civilization extends beyond mere historical narratives, transcending into the very fabric of human experience. What emerges from the shifting sands of time is not just a sequence of events, but rather a continuum, a tapestry enriched with stories of ambition, perseverance, creativity, and encounters with the divine that shaped the lives of countless individuals. The whispers of this cradle of civilization beckon us to contemplate the resilience of human spirit that has, for millennia, sought meaning amidst a world marked by uncertainty and change. In the kingdoms of ancient Mesopotamia, the rise and fall of empires encapsulated broader themes of adaptation and progress. Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, and Assyria were not just names on a map. They were living entities, vibrant through the devotion of their people, who poured their hopes and dreams into the soil and stones of their cities. While conflict often interrupted the cadence of daily life, it could not eclipse the fundamental human desires that united the inhabitants, a yearning for order, the pursuit of knowledge, and the deep-seated need for community. Within this context, the cultural artifacts that have continued to grace our understanding of Mesopotamia speak volumes of their values, aspirations, and identity. The writing of cuneiform, which first carved itself into the tablets of clay, became more than a means of record-keeping. It was a vessel for the very essence of human thought, a bridge between generations that allowed stories, laws, and knowledge to endure through time. The mythic narratives and poetic expressions, such as those encapsulated in the Epic of Gilgamesh, evoke the trials and tribulations of the human condition, reflecting universally shared themes of mortality, friendship, and the quest for immortality that resonate with each successive generation. These precious texts foster connections that span across millennia, reminding us that the quest for understanding and meaning is a deeply human endeavor. Time, relentless and impartial, played its inevitable role in reshaping the landscapes of this fertile crescent. As nature ebbed and flowed along with human ambition, the rivers of the Tigris and Euphrates whispered tales of bounty and hardship alike. They remind us that the duality of existence, creation and destruction, joy and sorrow, is intrinsic to the human experience. Brilliant innovations emerged, flourishing during peaks of civilization, yet they were often subject to the whims of nature's unpredictable temperament. Consequently, droughts could evoke despair, just as floods could spark ingenuity in irrigation and agricultural practices. altering the course of existence for entire communities. This dynamic interplay with the natural world reflects a symbiotic relationship where humans learn to navigate the delicate balance of their environment, enriching their cultural landscape with adaptive wisdom. In contemplating the threads of memory that have woven through the ages, we cannot overlook the presence of silence, the spaces where once bustling agora have now become echoes. As the great cities slowly succumb to the passage of time, leaving behind their monumental traces, a truth permeates the ruins. The silence is not one of absence, but rather a powerful testament to continuity. Each cracked brick and weathered tablet stores stories of past generations, filled with laughter, sorrow, triumph, and loss. The very act of standing amidst these remnants invites a sacred introspection, nudging us to reflect on the transient nature of human endeavors and the indelible mark such experiences leave on the landscape of history. The legacy of Mesopotamia extends beyond the peaks and valleys of its empires. It radiates outward, influencing surrounding cultures and civilizations. As traders traversed its waterways and merchants exchanged goods, knowledge was not merely bartered but shared, reshaping conceptions of governance, law, literature, and art, imbuing subsequent societies with the richness of Mesopotamia's intellectual inheritance. It was here that the seeds of civilization flourished, spreading into distant lands, nourishing the beliefs and practices of future generations, culminating in a shared heritage that resonates even within the fabric of our modern world. Elements of governance birthed in the fertile ground of these city-states echo in democratic ideals today, while artistic expressions find their roots in the ancient clay and stone. The fragrances of their vision linger not only in museum halls, but dance subtly through our contemporary lives. Yet the poignant reality remains that much of this legacy stands juxtaposed against the very loss that defined the decline of these remarkable societies. As we sift through the sands of time, we glimpse the shadows of impermanence, the knowledge that no civilization is immune to the relentless march of time. The cries of a once mighty culture, now relegated to fragments and artifacts, remind us of the fragility inherent in human endeavors. Each fallen empire serves as a stark reminder of the transitory nature of power, wealth, and prestige. The valleys of success can swiftly become lost amidst the mountains of despair bridged by the inevitable struggles of existence. In the quiet aftermath of this exploration, we are enveloped by a profound sense of connection to those who came before us. Their hopes, dreams, and daily tribulations resonate as echoes upon echoes, lineage intertwining with the human spirit. We find solace in the idea that through the trials faced by these ancient people, and through their eventual metamorphosis in the face of adversity, lies an unwavering resilience that courses through our veins even today. The truth of their journey becomes our own, a reminder that humanity shares a common thread, perpetually weaving together not only the triumphs of our past, but also the challenges we continue to face. As we turn our gaze from the bustling landscapes of ancient cities to the horizons that stretch toward what remains unknown, we realize that the legacy of Mesopotamia does not simply rest in history's annals. It is alive in the stories we share, the values we uphold, and the civilizations that have risen and fallen since those pioneering times. The rivers continue to flow, much like the ideas and influences birthed from this cradle of civilization, carrying with them memories that bind us across centuries and cultures together in a continuous narrative of human existence. In the moments of quiet contemplation, we find peace not in the certainty of what has been recounted, but in the mystery of what remains. The legacy of Mesopotamia is a whisper of shared history that beckons us to ponder our place within the grand tapestry of humanity. As the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates gently carve their course through time, may we imbue our shared existence with the understanding that every moment, every story, and every heartbeat contributes to a vast continuum that unites us all, linking past to present, and perhaps guiding us ever so softly toward a future still waiting to unfold.